Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, today inshallah we are going to discuss together the past perfect. The past perfect tense, we have two types of the past perfect tense. We have the past perfect simple and the past perfect continuous. Let's start with the past perfect simple. The perfect simple is used to talk about an action which happened before another action in the past. For example, Mom had baked a cake before the party started. Now we have two actions, bake and start. Both of them are in the past, but one of them happened before the other. The first action is Mom baked the cake, but after that the party started. So the first action is put in the past perfect, which is had baked, but the second action is still in the past simple. The past perfect simple is also used to talk about an action which happened before a stated time in the past. For example, Lenny had done his homework by 7 o'clock. So when 7 o'clock came, Lenny had finished doing his homework. So now we do not have two actions, but we have one action happened and ended before a specific time in the past. The form of the past perfect simple had plus the past participle. The past participle can be regular by adding ed to the verb. For example, work, worked, visit, the past perfect is visited, like, liked, and so on. And irregular like drive, the past perfect or the past participle form of drive is driven, the past participle of get is got, and so on. We have some time expression. The most common ones are after, as soon as, when, before, by the time, by, till, and until. After, as soon as, and when are used with the first action, which is the past perfect. So after, as soon as, after, when, we use the first action, which is past perfect. But by the time and before are used before the second action, which is the past simple. By is used before a specific time in the past. Yani by 7 o'clock yesterday, okay, by 1994, and so on. Till and until are used with the past perfect. Yani after till and until, we use the first action, which is past perfect. But before them, we put the second action, the past simple, but in negative form. For example, after I had done my homework, I watched TV. As soon as I had done my homework, I watched TV. When I had done my homework, I watched TV. And you can also say, I watched TV after, or as soon as, or when I had done my homework. What about before and by the time? You can say, before I watched TV, I had done my homework. Or I had done my homework by the time I watched TV. Till and until. You say, I didn't watch TV until I had done my homework. I didn't watch TV till I had done my homework. Let's practice. Decide which action in the past took place first and which one took place second. طبعا the action that took place first will be used in the past perfect, and the second action will be put in the past simple. I felt better, past simple. I took an aspirin, past simple. Both of them are used in the past simple because they are separated sentences. Okay? But if you want to join them in one sentence by using when, for example, you have to put the first action in the past perfect. So, which one in the first action? Which one, the first action, felt better or took an aspirin? Yes, took an aspirin. So, took will be used in the past perfect, will be had taken. So, the sentence will be when I had taken an aspirin, I felt better. You can also say, as soon as I had taken an aspirin, I felt better. And you can also say, I didn't feel better until I had taken an aspirin. Okay? We called a taxi. We locked the door. We called a taxi. We locked a door. The sentence can be, before we locked the door, we had called a taxi. So now we can decide that called is the first action. How we don't know that? Because we put it in the past perfect and said had called. And locked is in the second sentence or the second action because it's still in the past simple locked. Before we locked the door, we had called a taxi. Like if I ask you to use after, you'll say, great. After we had called a taxi, we locked the door. طيب, what about till? You will say, we didn't lock the door until we had called a taxi. The third sentence, it stopped raining. We took our dog for a walk. It stopped raining. We took our dog for a walk. Use as soon as. It's clear that the first action will be stopped raining. For example, you will say, as soon as it had stopped raining, we took our dog for a walk. So, stopped raining is the first action. This is what happened first. We took our dog for a walk is the second action. If I ask you to use until, you will say, we didn't take our dog for a walk until it had stopped raining. If I ask you to use before in the middle of the sentence, you will say, it had stopped raining before we took our dog for a walk. We reached the railway station. The train left. If you use reach in the past perfect, that means we have caught the train or missed it. If we had reached first, so we caught the train. But if you say had left, that means the train came first, so we missed it. Okay? Use by the time. By the time we reached the railway station, the train had left. That means we didn't catch the train because the train had left first. Okay? If I ask you to use after, you will say, after the train had left, we reached the railway station. Okay? Use till, you will say, we didn't reach the railway station until or till the train had left. Okay? He spoke to a policeman. He saw an accident. It's clear that he saw an accident first. After that, he spoke to a policeman. Use after. By the way, after is the opposite of after that. Okay? وبefore is the opposite of before that. يعني after equal before that. Before equal after that. Okay? So the sentence will be after he had seen an accident, he spoke to a policeman. Or before he spoke to a policeman, he had seen an accident. That means he didn't speak to a policeman until he had seen an accident. Okay. The second post-perfect, the second type of the post-perfect is the post-perfect continuous. Okay. The form of the post-perfect continuous is had been plus the past participle. Had been, past participle. The most time expressions are for, since, and all. And the past perfect continuous can also be used with after, before, till, and so on. Okay. The past perfect continuous is used to emphasize عشان emphasize يؤكد the duration of an accident which happened before another action in the past. That means the past perfect continuous is also used to express a verb that happened before another verb. So what is the difference between the past perfect simple and the past perfect continuous? The past perfect simple emphasizes on the action and its result. بيأكد على الأكشن، الفعل نفسه إنه حصل ولا لأ، والresults بتاعته، النتيجة بتاعته. يعني I had read 3 stories. I had read 3 stories. I had studied very much أو too much. Okay. أو 3 pages أو 3 units. That present the past perfect simple. لكن past perfect continuous emphasizes on the duration. بيركز على المدة. You cannot say I had been studying 3 units. لا. I had been studying. قول لي مدة بقى. I had been studying for a long time. Okay. Or all the night. Okay. So the first difference between the past perfect simple and the past perfect continuous, that the past perfect simple emphasizes on the action and its result, but the past perfect continuous emphasizes on the duration of the action. Okay. For example, he had been living in Aswan for 15 years before he moved to Cairo. Now, I do not emphasize on the action itself, but I emphasize on the duration, which is 15 years. Okay. انا هنا مش بقول ان انا بس ان هو عاش في اسوان قبل ما يعيش في القاهره. لا، ده فضل عايش 15 سنه. انا باكد على المده دي. Okay. The past perfect continuous is also used to refer to an action whose duration caused visible results at a later point of time in the past. Okay. For example, I was tired because I had been studying all day. Now I'm asking you, was he tired because he studied or because he had been studying for a long time? Of course, he was tired because he had been studying for a long time. يعني إذا كان ذاكر بس، يعني ذاكر دقيقة، هيبقى tired؟ لا. فأنا هنا مش بركز على الأكشن itself، لكن I'm emphasizing on the duration. أنا بأكد على فكرة إن هو قاعد يذاكر فترة طويلة. خد بالك ممكن السنتنس دي I was tired because I had been studying all day يكون الراجل ده ما ذاكرش غير سطرين، ما ذاكرش غير صفحة، ما ذاكرش بشكل كافي. وده مش هدفي ان انا اقول هو ذاكر قد ايه، انا هدفي ان انا اقول قد ايه كمية. انا هدفي ان انا اقول هو ذاكر قد ايه وقت، او انه ذاكر فترة طويلة. اوكي. فهنا tired is the result of studying for a long time. اوكي. لكن لو كان التركيز بتاعي على الاكشن كنت هستخدم past perfect simple. Okay. For example, you could أو he borrowed my book. He borrowed my book. هو استلف كتابي خلاص. Because I had read it، أنا قريته، or I had been reading it for a long time. هنا أنا وصلت لنتيجة إن هو قدر يستلف كتابي لأني خلصته. لاني قريته، مش لاني اقدر اقرا فيه فتره، قدرت اقرا فيه فتره طويله. انا هنا مش بركز على الديوريشن، انا بركز على الاكشن itself. Okay, let's practice. Complete the sentences with the past perfect simple or the past perfect continuous. Jane was very tired because she space. The verb is run. طيب, I am asking you, was Jane very tired because she just run? هي بس ايه just ran يعني مجرد ان هي جريت، ولا لانها ran for a long time? I think because she ran for a long time. So you will put it in the past simple, perfect simple, or the past perfect continuous. Yes, it's past perfect continuous. Jane was very tired because she had been running, okay, for a long time. Okay, you do not have to say for a long time, but it's clear. Why it's clear? Because of the result. الريزلت اللي هي انها كانت tired. Okay. When David saved enough money, he bought a car. هنا David was able to buy a car because of the action of saving money or because of the duration of saving money? Because of the action. لمجرد ان هو حوش فلوس فقدر يشتري عربية. So had saved. الشراء بتاع العربية كان نتيجة انه حوش، مش نتيجة انه حوش فترة طويلة. بمعنى لا يا مستر، ممكن حوش فترة طويلة طبعا عشان قدر يجيب العربية وثمنها الغالي ده. اوكي، ما هو برضه ده مش duration. طب ما ممكن يكون انا بركز على الديوريشن وكل يوم بيحوش جنيه، يبقى عمره كله هيخلص ومش هيشتري العربيه. لكن الاكشن بتاع التحويش نفسه ده تمام هو اللي يهمني، انا بتكلم على الاكشن والريزلت، فعشان كده post perfect simple. I didn't know who he was. I spaced him before. I didn't know who he was. Yes, because I had never seen him. عمري ما شفته قبل كده. مش عمري ما كنت عمال اشوفه. واصلا see is a stative verb. see بالmeaning بتاع يرى is a stative verb. So you cannot use it in the past perfect continuous as we know. I didn't go to see the film yesterday because I see it before. Yes, I had seen it before. I didn't go to see the film because of the fact that I had seen it. Because of the action that I had seen it, not because of the duration of seeing. Okay, مش لاني قعدت اشوف فيه فتره طويله. Okay, I wait at the check-in desk for 10 minutes before I realized that I had forgotten my passport. Yes, I had been waiting. I had been waiting for 10 minutes. Now I'm emphasizing on the duration. هي وهي بتحكي هي عايزه تقول ان هي استنت 10 دقايق، مش عايزه تقول ان هي استنت بس. مش هو ده ان هي مش بتركز على الاكشن. Okay, so I had been waiting at the check-in desk for 10 minutes. هو الكي وورد بتاعتي for 10 minutes. Okay, driver drink before the car crashed into a tree. Okay, هنا had the driver been drinking. Okay, now we have a result. The result is the car crashed into a tree. The car crashed into a tree because he just drank, or he had been drinking for a long time. He had been drinking, not just a drop مثلا. Okay, يبقى he had been drinking، فضل يشرب للدرجه، انا طبعا هو هنا نقصد في الاكزامبل واين يعني، فضل يشرب للدرجه اللي خلته مش قادر يسوق. Okay, he was too late. the train leave. Too late. The train had left. So we have two actions. One of them happened before the other. The first action is the train left. The second action, he was late. Okay? He was late because the train moved or because the train had been moving. هل هو كده اعتبر نفسه متأخر لأن القطر اتحرك ولا لأن القطر قاعد يتحرك فترة طويلة؟ لا طبعا because the train had left لأنه اتحرك. Okay? They were pleased to arrive. They traveled for 12 hours. Great. We have for 12 hours. Okay? They had been traveling. We now emphasize on the duration. And we have the word for, which is a time expression for the past perfect continuous. تمام؟ هم ليه كانوا please to arrive؟ ليه فرحوا أو انبسطوا يعني إن هم وصلوا؟ ده لأن هم سافروا؟ لا هم طبيعي إن هم سافروا فطبيعي إن هم هيوصلوا. لكن لأن هم قعدوا يسافروا فترة طويلة، قعدوا طايرين فترة طويلة، فالفترة الطويلة دي خلتهم pleased when they arrived. Okay? I was able to buy a new computer because I spent enough money. I was able to buy a new computer because I had saved enough money. I got wet because I forgot my umbrella. هو got wet لأنه just forgot. Okay. نسيان الامبريلا خلاه wet ولا إنه قعد ينسى فترة طويلة. No, I'm not emphasizing on the duration. I had forgotten. I got wet because I had forgotten my umbrella. He was upset when he lost his phone. He only bought it the week before. Verb boy cannot be used in the continuous form. مش هقول I had been buying كنت عمال اشتري فيه. Okay. مش هقعد اشتري فترة طويلة. Okay. فهنا هيبقى had only bought it the week before. Okay. By the time I managed to see here, she stays in hospital for over a week. طبعا verb to be is a stative verb, so you cannot use it in the past perfect continuous. يعني you cannot say had been being. Okay? So it's past perfect simple. By the time I managed to see her, she had been in hospital for over a week. يا مستر هنا أنا عندي for وفور دي من الكي ووردز أو time expressions بتاعة ال past perfect continuous. Okay? But verb to be is a stative verb. You cannot use it in the past continuous or past perfect continuous or present perfect continuous or present continuous. You cannot use verb to be or any other stative verb in any continuous tense. Okay? He was tired because he studied all week. We have a keyword which is all. So it's past perfect continuous. But even if we do not have the word all, we will use study in the past perfect continuous because he was tired. He was tired. Tired هنا is the result of studying for a long time. Okay? Not just because he studied. مش مجرد انه ذاكر فهو تعبان زي ما قلنا في الاكزامبل اللي قبل كده. لا هنا had been studying for a long time so he was tired. مش شرط بقى اقول all the week ولا for a long time. Okay? He was so pleased. He catch 3 fish. بس خلاص خلص الموضوع. 3 fish. 3 fish هي دي result of catching. انا قلت هنا الانجاز اللي عمله ان هو 3 fish 3 sandwiches 4 units 5 lessons. طالما قلت الانجاز اللي حصل so it was perfect simple. He was so pleased he had caught 3 fish in just 1 hour. لكن لو كان for a long time the continuous duration had been catching fish for a long time, had been catching fish all the night. Okay, so had caught three fish. The result is 3 fish. She managed to get through to Paul. She tried to call him 3 times. Again, we have the result 3 times. الإنجاز اللي حصل. Okay, so had tried. She painted for a long time before she became famous. For a long time. For a long time. Now I'm emphasizing on the duration. You will say she had been painting. He got burned because he sat in the sun too long. Okay? He got burned because he just sat in the sun for 1 second, for example, for 2 minutes, for example. No, he got burned because he had been sitting in the sun for a long time, too long. He had a stomachache because he ate too much. Now, if he ate too much, now I'm emphasizing on the action of eating too much, not the duration. لا هو too much يا مستر كده تدي إيحاء إنه duration. لا هو هنا الكمية اللي أكلها هي اللي خلته عنده stomachache، مغص أو ألم في المعدة، مش إنه أكل فترة طويلة. بالعكس، لو كان أكل too much تمام بس for a long time ما كانش يبقى عنده stomachache. هو المشكلة إن هو مش أكل فترة طويلة فمضغ كويس وظبط نفسه كده، لا ده أكل بسرعة too much. لكن مش هو ده السبب الأساسي اللي خلينا نقول had eaten أو had been eating. الفكرة إن هو هنا emphasizes on the action and the result, the quantity of food which is too much. Okay. When the company shut down, she worked there for 15 years. For 15 years. Great. Had been working because I'm emphasizing on the duration, which is 15 years. Thank you very much. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.